So it's cool, man. And now,
wait for it.
the end.
We're live.
The final curtain. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Waves Poetry Open Mic here in our hideout lair. Keep back and relax. I'd like to welcome everybody that's here, the hundreds that are here in our space at the hideout, and the millions out on La La Land, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome this evening for another Monday night of poetry with an attitude, and we don't give a goddamn.
What?
There we go. Let's give a nice warm hand for everybody watching us, ladies and gentlemen. Hey! Welcome. I'm going to start out one note that I want to make. We are not going to be here because there's an event that was scheduled, so we won't be here. But everything's cool, man. We like to take a day off every once in a while. Give everybody a break. I'm chewing gum. I hate talking chew gum. According to my teachers, don't chew gum and talk. Moment, please.
Okay.
Save that for later.
Isn't that what we used to do when we were in elementary school? We put it underneath the desk, you pick it up later, then you forget it, and then you go to reach again, you find another one that's kind of, that's mine. Yes, you guys didn't do that, man. I'd like to welcome our friends from LA too, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it our friends from LA. They're traveling the world. So I'd like to start with a couple of poems from a book. Ladies and gentlemen, from here and out there, we need to buy this book that was published by the
Thought Crime Press.
Thought Crime, I couldn't read it. I gotta give me no glasses. Thought Crime Press. It's titled "Not My President: The Anthology of Dissent." So you go to the website and order it right now, because we need to make this a #1 book. It's a book that is, I'm going to read real fast what it says on the back. Thought Crime Press gathers voices from around the world in this anthology, including National Book and Award winners, visual artists, New York Times bestsellers, poet laureates, singer-songwriters, high school students, children of undocumented immigrants, and all united in their opposition to the policies of number 45, the Orange Man. So, I'm going to start, and there are several Chi-Town poets that are published in this book. So I thought, we need to give this book a lot of play. By the way, it was sent to every member of Congress, including 45. And one of them sent back a note rejecting it because they don't take gifts. Is that an oxymoron? It's just a moron without the oxy in front of it, man. So I thought I'd start out.
No gifts, just bribes.
What?
No gifts, just bribes.
No gifts, just bribes. You got that right. And you follow me, Reverend, so I don't want to catch you by surprise. So I'm going to start out with this particular poem by a dear friend of mine, radical in his own right. He got from the graffiti world into the written world. His name is Billy Tuggle. So if you're watching, Billy, and if I mess it up, it's your fault, because you're the way you write. So I started with this. It's titled, First Days in a Microverse. The ink is conduit for resistance. Fuck a grant. Now artists must go ski mask route. Fuck. See, that's what I'm saying. My glasses. Let me start again. I don't want to mess it up, man. The ink is a conduit for resistance. Fuck a grant. Now artists must go ski mask route. Pull the pen and stab them in their conscience. White people go argue race with white people. Keep telling mythologies like God-given. They fear the inhumanity they gave us. Don't salute flag Don't salute flag. Some of them will. Don't salute flag. Oh shit, that's interesting word. Don't salute flag. Some of them will hang you with. Oligarch, oil company with army. The rule is laws are given, rights taken. Trump made it so that Biff can live sheets at home. Stop trying to make molehills from swastikas. We should knock the genocide out of them all. Find a place the enemy breathes and crush it. Melanin means no eclipse for sun children. Wow, man, did I miss that? But Billy Tago, ladies and gentlemen. Billy Tago. Hope I do better justice for this one, man. I don't want to mess this one too up. This is from Marty McConnell. She's an excellent poet, man. She's been here a couple of times, and but I wanted to read her piece. It's titled, "The Sacrament of Hope After Despair." How many men must we survive? The 40-something at the screen door when I was 15, roses on the porch whenever Dad was out of town, the one who tries to rape me, the other one who tried to rape me, the one who lied and dissolved and lied and dissolved and lied until I left, then followed me home to lie again. The one who made me and broke my mother's heart. The ones with perfect syllables, concealing machetes, getting hard, pursuing rain. The ones with the gun racks and sweet guitars. The ones rolling promotions in their suit pant pockets like loose change. The ones who lisp Andre Lord quotes over top shelf bourbon as if the beds they rose from to come here aren't full of women who used to have hands. Not all men, but enough. Enough. Oh, my nephews, oh, my godson, you do not have to be women to be kind. Look at your fathers, wounded by their own fathering, how they make tea and hold you, destroying nothing, killing no one. Marty McConnell, ladies and gentlemen. And this next one is by yours truly.
Yeah.
My name is Amir Minoso, just in case they send a Homeland Security to arrest me. I am wanted in 25 different states.
It's down from 26. Thanks, Virginia.
There you go. I forgot about her.
Yeah.
It was titled Incandescent Free.
Yes.
Incandescent free marches to a beat, dancing songs of freedom on the street. Pirates in the sunlight with gold teeth. The world is watching on bended knee, and the pipeline rumbles on standing rock as Mr. Bigley procures his fee. A world order has come to town. It's looking to chop heads of women, black and brown. Hand upon a Bible, fingers crossed with a frown. The 1%ers yank the chain of the plebeians. Upon the chair, they crown a clown. Tremors, thunder, rock the scenes of Mother Earth, while the insatiable Everest swine distend their girth. In tuxedo tails and stovepipe hats, they parade their whores and their legitimate births, regurgitating fables to the cheers of ghosts in white, tales from leaders filled with dearth. A global warming eclipse, ice caps melting, and a blood-crimson moon, as Mitch's urgents, devout sanguines ejaculate the dirge in an afternoon. Across the universe, alternative facts are spewed like a crapshoot in a monsoon. As the Batman penguin emerged from the Gotham's murky waters, this one rises from its spittoon. The festive mood of the New World Order, with a million strong in contrast, is swiftly overshadowed. From LA, Chi-Town, NYC to Washington, D.C., comes the salvo across the bow to the battle of the myriad of tomorrows, which Tilapostli, bright upon the sky, invigorates the fire in the belly. The cast has been forged in stone, for we shall not go like the way of the buffalo, resist, refuse, say no. Thank you very much. This is we program reminded a hideout.
Yes.
And we're starting to roll, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming in from all over the world, man. You know, we got a young man all the way from 87th Street, man, on the south side of Chi-Town, hanging out with us, man. He dared take the bus into this white neighborhood. He was shitting his pants. I'm telling you, man. Oh man, it doesn't look like my hood, man. It's too clean, you know. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. Let me bring up the first poet to the microphone. He is the man who has saved my life on more than one occasion. Every time I feel like I'm down on my knees and broken and crying and telling myself I want to kill myself, no, I pick up the phone and call him and I tell him my sins, and he says to me, brother, don't worry, you have been forgiven. I will eat the sins from your brain, from your soul, and I will take him to the man above. And before I know it, I feel much better, so that tomorrow I can start sinning all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a nice warm hand for the Reverend John Sherp. Put your hands together. And we'll give it up. Yes, sir.
Where did Doug go?
I don't know.
Okay, the old guy has a question about the live streaming. How do you get to this later?
I just go to
Just go to the
Facebook
page.
On
Okay,
Facebook or on
page.
YouTube?
Weeds Poetry
Which one?
up in my Facebook page.
Okay, I was gonna invite my parents to watch, because this is a poem about my late brother, and then my dad was trying to get on and having trouble, so I'm gonna probably have to walk him through it later.
You can still watch it later.
Yeah, it'll still be there, so we'll figure it out. Some of us are old and we don't do technology really well. Actually, my late brother is the one that really did technology really well, so that's why I'm having trouble. Normally I would have just asked him. This is a poem for my late brother, Stephen. My mother was the queen of the hand-me-downs. She had a clothing identification system. 1X was Stephen, 2 was John, 3 was Philip, 4 was Timothy. When Stephen outgrew something, Mom just added an X, and it was mine. It was the service Stephen provided. He broke in my shirts, pants, coats, even underwear, but never shoes. He always wore them out. Ready-to-wear clothing wasn't the only service he provided. He took a couple of newlyweds with absolutely no experience, broke them in, stretched them out, softened them up, and by the time I came along, they were full-fledged parents. I was always in competition. If Stephen got a B, I wanted an A. If he won silver, I wanted gold. I sought to surpass his successes and felt comfortable criticizing his failures. Failing to appreciate that in success or failure, he was laying down footsteps, blazing a trail. I didn't know he was blazing a trail. I thought he was lost, hacking his way aimlessly through a dense thicket. But I was still number 2. Even as I looked down on his wandering, I took advantage of his path. Always in his footsteps, but never in his shoes. Blazing a trail is hard on shoes. They always seem to wear out before Mom could add that second X. Today, Stephen has come to the end of his thicket, emerging from the dense underbrush to a place prepared for him by the Lord, whose footsteps Stephen followed and followed so well. Stephen's feet finally wore out, But the shoes he left behind, I could never fill. Husband of Cassie, father of Devin, Bobby, David, and Brian, firstborn of Glenn and Lois, oldest brother of John, Rebecca, Philip, and Timothy, godly example to so many. I could never fill those shoes. Only the God Stephen now sees face to face, the God who is the protector of widows, the father to the fatherless, who gave his firstborn to be the first among many brothers. Only that God could fill those shoes, along with the holes in our hearts that Stephen leaves behind. But even if we can't fill his shoes, I can still walk in his footsteps. For while his journey has come to an end, I'm still struggling my way through this dense thicket, hacking at the tangled brush, fighting off mosquitoes, straining to see the way forward, the way home, where Stephen has joined the cloud of witnesses, cheering me on, as I weep with those who weep, mourn with those who mourn, care for his orphans and widow, serve the least of these, and encourage them all to keep following the footsteps laid out for us, fixing our eyes on the author and finisher of our faith until we finally reach the place prepared for us, where Stephen is waiting with the God who will wipe the tears from our eyes, allowing us to see clearly when we meet him face to face in a land without death or mourning or crying or pain, where the perishable is raised imperishable, grief is turned to joy, faith is turned to sight, and all things are made new, eternally new. In memory of Stephen and Paul Shirk, born May 5th, 1967. Happy birthday. Died February 5th, 2013. Rest in peace.
All right.
Thank you, John. You know, I'm old enough to have seen a few deaths. And one of the things that I learned from those is that even though you kind of cry at the moment and you feel an emptiness in your heart, one of the things that makes me feel better is to remember who they are, celebrate their life. Instead of burying my heart in their coffin with them, remember them the way they were. What made me happy? How do we party? How do we get here and there? That's what I think. But then, of course, I'm a sinner, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to tell you no lies, but I definitely will not tell you no truths. So let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, and keep going. Let me bring up the next poet. He's a young man that definitely blows my mind each time that he reads his poetry. He's from the wild thickets of suburbia, the wild mangling lives that he has had so many times. Ladies and gentlemen, he will make you cry, he will make you laugh, but he will make you think. Let's give a nice warm hand and bring it to the microphone. Mr. Jack Black, put your hands together. And let's give a nice warm hand. Bring him to the mic. My brother. Good to see you.
How's everybody doing?
All right.
Good to hear. Give me a second here. It's just because I'm young doesn't mean I'm good with technology. I really think it's against me sometimes. I smash phones just like out of spite. I know. All right, so this first one, it's called Cat Call to the Diner. Hey, pretty lady, how about a smile? No worries, I'm not a prowling crocodile or even a dog barking for a bone. I just saw an hourglass cruising along alone, and it got me thinking time is finite and solitary shouldn't be every single night. Seems a sad waste of sand, grains tumbling, lost chances through my hand. So miss, I think you can give me this. If not, hey, I'll leave without a hiss. But I'm sure eventually you have to eat. That's a fact I doubt any you'll ever beat. My point being, you're a pearl, and I just want to feed you, girl.
All right.
This next one I don't really have a title for, so let's just roll with it. Dead man screaming because he thinks he's alive. Dead lady dreaming, this time she'll survive. Both graves beaming, aware of love somewhere that might thrive. The night keeps leading souls into a dive. $6 buckets of brew so brains can't accrue any sign outside of fine. Then lies come out true without spoiling the view. Confine hearts in pine. Dead man walking to get anywhere but here. Dead lady talking for any ear to hear. Both graves gawking, the distance between seems to near. The night keeps seeding, means to endear. Thank you. And this last one is just a goofy, weird thing that I did just because you can't be serious all the time. And if you enjoy it, you can pick up a copy of it, a rendition of it on iTunes. So anyway, this is Uncle Stumble's Mumble Juice. Uncle Stumble's Mumble Juice, guaranteed to get you loose and make you of no fucking use. It's Uncle Stumble's Mumble Juice. What's in it? Who really cares? I'm pretty sure there's Bigfoot hairs and maybe even some roadside flares in Uncle Stumble's Mumble Juice. Uncle Stumble's Mumble Juice, guaranteed to get you loose and maybe in your girl's caboose. It's Uncle Stumble's Mumble Juice. Ain't no lie, heard it from my own eye. Got it from a demon with a dick like a double wide. That kid did confide what tends to be the recipe for Uncle Stumble's Mumble Juice. Uncle Stumble's Mumble Juice, guaranteed to get you loose and maybe in your own caboose. It's Uncle Stumble's Mumble Juice. Thank you very much.
All right! Stumble on, man! Where's my lube?
Get me 2 bottles, man. Mumble, Stumble, Mumble Juice.
Take that back to Cali.
Ain't seen nothing like that in L.A.
All the way from Kentucky. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. What can I say, ladies and gentlemen, about our next poet? She came like this virgin bird with feathers aflutter, wondering if she could or could not read in this humble joint of ours, the hideout there where poetry is dark and hard and dirty. But she throws on her poetry. And holy smokes, we realize that she fits right in, ladies and gentlemen. And she returns. I ask her, would you return? She said, I'll be right there. I'll be right back. Just give me some Manhattans or some of those old-fashioned drinks. Give me 2 or 3 and I'll be ready, ladies and gentlemen. She's had 4, so she is ready to go. Yes. Let's give it up for Shoshana Morgan.
I didn't feel creative enough, so I just mumbled a bunch of things by artists that I really like. This prayer is for everyone that feels like they're too messed up. I'm afraid we ain't spoken so long. Good morning, I think I've had enough. The next time when I look in your eyes, waking up on your sofa, maybe let's start again. Sick addiction, I feel it's fading. Baby girl, he's a loner, lost and beat up. Run away from me, baby, I might do a little time. I'm making love to the angel of death. Tell everybody that you know, this was way too much. I did this my own way, somewhere I can feel safe. And when you cry, I will cry. Now I know that you're up tonight. Let me crash here for a moment, just like the morning sun. No lie, I can see it in your eyes. I guess it's rubbing off. I don't blame you much for wanting to be free, but I never thought that you would take it this far. It's 4 a.m. and I can't sleep. I'm sitting in the corner, all alone and burning. The magic hour. I found you somewhere out there, down there, dancing. I will feel their question, I will feel your pain. I really thought we meant it when you weren't around. I might get a little drunk, take off your cool, then lose control. I can't handle no liquor. Castle got bigger, the walls got taller. I've been waiting for a minute. I will die for those I love. Right down there, right round there, that I fight for, that I ride for. Sorry, hold on. Phone issues. Okay. That I fight for, that I ride for. May the Lord forgive us, because we were once a fairy tale. I admit I still fantasize about you, and when you smile, I smile, and this night is young. When they come for you, I will shield your name. I'm still going to be here in the morning, so tell the voice inside your head to believe it. Remember who you are. Goodbye, my friend. Will I ever love again? I know you're tired of loving. If you love me so much, why'd you let me go? No goodbyes in my mind. I told God I'd be back in 1 second. I'm about to break the rules, but don't tell anyone. Now this will be one beautiful death. I shed a tear before the night's over. Deliver us peace. You love me when I'm hungover. I'm about to, this prayer is for everyone that feels they're not good enough. Deliver us serenity, deliver us loving. Most of us, we are at war with ourselves. You know ain't nobody perfect. Pour champagne, cranberry vodka. I always find something wrong, and it's always because of you. I'm gonna follow my heart, and I'll never know. They don't want to see me love you. I'm letting everything go, all that I live for, that I die for. And even though I always fuck up my life, God shows me the way. Your love is fading. But I'm sorry, I just can't die for you.
All right.
I'm not asking you to die for me, Shoshana. I just want you to love me. That's it. Of course, she brings a boyfriend with her, you know, to make me jealous. I don't get jealous. You know, they screw with you, screw them, you know. All the way from 87th Street, ladies and gentlemen, he takes the bus, risks his life to come up from his hood to here, the north side, the dreaded north side, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good friend of mine. We go back a long, long way, man. We used to go back, we would be, you know, graffitiing the railroad cars, you know. We would be drinking big pints of, you know, TJ Swan, man. We would be, you know, running behind girls, you know, squeezing them on the butt as they, hey, baby, Lord, all that stuff. Oh, man, we were cool, man. And I told him one day, man, I'm having this poetry venue, man. Come on down and check it out. He goes, yeah, man, but he was too cool, man. He was too cool, man. So he decided, finally, he shows up, man. And he's got a book to brag about his poetry with, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure that when he's done after the show, come up to him and say, hey, man. And don't be charging the $100, you know, for the book anymore, man. You know, you're ripping people off, you know. Make it $99.99 like the real capitalists do, okay? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my good friend Capri Wyatt, put this together and bring him to the line.
Hey,
training my mind to the universal principle, which only means the truth. Reality has so many scientific methods to it, so why not propose to it? So that means it's time for me to stop enslaving my mind to superstition, lies, and pride that I've been trying so hard to oppress. Like time I got shot in my left hand, which could have been my right hand, which is my right hand, so damn. But knowing that knowledge of intelligence could truly show my mind justice, so that means there's no time to lust over memories over history that has nothing to give to the far future of tomorrow. Only have faithfulness in the Creator for allowing me to be blessed so I can forgive those for the fear and hate. So let you know my sister and their faults and the fact that you so-called try to format your so-called beliefs of a young black man on TV. I'm more dedicated to feed off nostalgia because I only have wisdom and truth. They got me seeing sources of power that's so poetic that it drives me to create ways to become the best and never to be second to none. So that's why I use my skill with the pen that goes off like a revolver on this notepad that shows the words can reflect the most right part. So I can only handle the kingdom leadership. So to tell you the truth, that's why I love to see the holy haven, dream, lost story, filled with lies, minds, wait beside cold blooded hellfire, dream I see, because they be like Capri. You don't know how to turn letter to the word to the sentence, sentence to a paragraph, paragraph to an essay. But hell, what they got to say, I'm turning two worlds colliding, the minds intertwining my soul to redeem myself as a young black king. That's why I'm preaching on the microphone and writing scriptures in my head, because I'm a lyrical monster. But never shelter myself with lies to feel welcome in someone's presence. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. See how cool he was? Hands in his pocket, straight up, throws down. Yeah, no fear, man, no fear. That's how we learn in the South Side, man. South Side. I'm from Roseland, man. I grew up in Roseland. So I'm further south than that, man. I'm from the real South Side. Our next poet, ladies and gentlemen. What can I say about it? But as a matter of fact, you were not here last week. I know you were dealing with something personal, but a friend of mine, her name is Laura Orellano. She's a designer. She's a cool designer, man. She's from Chi-Town, now living in Houston. She saw her with her outfit the week before, and she wanted to tell you that she thought you were the cutest thing with that retro outfit you were wearing, and she's also, you know, her boutique and her designs are called Betty Blue.
Is she single?
She's in Texas.
That's not what I asked.
She's not only single, but she's gorgeous.
All right.
So, you know, hey, Laura, if you're watching, she likes you. Maybe you like her. Put a message on our page. By the way, Sanchez is watching, Paul is watching, Dina is watching. And it's really cool. Like they put little messages like "sold it up." What the hell is "sold it up"? Sold it up. You know, my shoes sold, my heart sold. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring up our next poet. She will be hosting not next Monday because we're not going to be here, but the following Monday she will be hosting. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a nice warm hand and give her and bring her to the mic. Lauren Statton, put yours together. Bring it down.
Thank you for that warm introduction, G. Also, I was not dealing with family issues last week. I was at work, and I was watching the live feed.
Oh, yes, sir.
I tried. Well, I mean, don't tell my boss I was watching the live feed. Sorry, Lisa. All right. I have a couple of pieces to share with you today. This first one is in cursive, so it might be hard for me to read. I'm going to try my best. That's all I can do. My journey into journaling, Psych Ward edition. I always wondered what happened to my ability to write in cursive. My grandmother and teachers always had such beautiful cursive, and I could barely write in it at all cursive. My sensations. A haiku. Stomach bubbling, all around me grumbling. Don't change the channel. There are so many utterly repulsive things here, and very few helpful. Not that the people don't care or try. Some of them do. But the program itself, along with the facility, is despicable. Dirty, underfunded, unguided, with no real responsible resources to utilize. It has literally made me worse being here. Hopefully today, I get to leave. And I wish the best for the sad people left behind on the second floor of Swedish Covenant Hospital. Give those fuckers some extra Jell-O. They'll need it. On behalf of partially sane people everywhere, I vow to try to better myself upon getting out of here. So long, and thanks for all the Xanax. That's my journey in journaling. All right, I have a couple more for you. This is called a love poem. Kissing you would be like brushing my teeth with razor blades, and then taking a shot of the Lord. Holding your hand would be writing a haiku, and every syllable is a toothpick poking under each one of my fingernails. A call from you is 3 witches cackling over a burning chalkboard, each drawing their crusty nails over it again and again. Your touch is 7 squeezed lemons on road rash. Then dragging myself 4 more blocks on hot asphalt. When you show up unexpectedly, it's stepping on an entire minefield of Legos in a dark room. Every text from you is a Trump tweet having an asthma attack in a room on fire. Because everything you touch burns to the ground, smoky ashes scattered through cities, jobs, and people, with no regard for anything but yourself. And I can smell you like kerosene from blocks away. That's a love poem. This last one I didn't know if I wanted to read, but we're streaming live on 2 different platforms, so might as well do it.
Might as well.
This is called Why I'm Vegan, Other Articles and Essays. 10 ways to sneak whiskey in anywhere. How to use Dorito dust as eyeshadow and other clever bachelorette hacks. Raw dogging. The best pet-friendly raw vegan spots. 13 ways to wear Halloween costumes year-round. Bullying tips for Prius owners. Why bartenders want your money and not your phone number. Training employees hungover and other helpful workplace tips. Sex in alleyways, an essay on cleanliness. Peeing in public, lessons I learned from my dog. An open letter to every editor that has rejected me. Go fuck yourself. How to poison your lover and make it taste like vegan lasagna. And lastly, why you should buy a hamster to entertain your dog. That's Why I'm Vegan and Other Articles and Essays.
Laura said, ladies and gentlemen, watching as well as work, I think is the best thing you can do, man.
I mean, I work at a bar.
Hey, man, it must have been a slow night or
Yeah.
something. It's okay, I understand. If I was your boss, give you a raise for, you know.
Tell
But next, ladies and gentlemen, we go back a long way.
They listen to audiobooks.
The next poet and I, we hung out. We never drank together, though.
No.
No, he was a saint. He let me drink his drinks.
He's a good friend.
That's a good friend, absolutely. But not only that, ladies and gentlemen, he's a traveler, man. He is a writer, a novelist, a photographer. By the way, he's the one that is taking the photographs this evening. He's been doing it for a number of years. He's been documenting all the poets that come through our doors, to come to our mind. Someday he'll do one of them coffee table books full of pictures, no names on it. You know, we don't remember who the hell you are. You know, I write your name down and then I lose the page. What was that? Who cares, man? But he's with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a nice warm hand and bring the microphone. The one who's going to make you famous on Wednesday and our Facebook page. So check us out. Wayne's Poetry Open Mic on Facebook. You'll be seeing the glorious self that you are. Chuck Kramer is in the house. Put your hands together. Give him a hand.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's nice to have you people from the West Coast join us. We love having LA people in. We are truly an open mic. We're open to everyone. And I'm proof of that. Anyway, so this is Freedom Riders. They rode out of the dark end of 50s America through Eisenhower's departing mouth and squashed Jim Crow beneath the wheels of their Greyhound buses. Brave pioneers crossing a new frontier. They were soon called SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. But for their boomer peers, student was the key word, the opium of identity and the umbilical cord of the youth movement, which brought them all, black, white, Asian, Latino, to a new world where peace and love, freedom and equality where the garden flowers they planted and picked like poppies, drunk with the heady fragrance of change. When the Fab Four invaded, the ground had been prepared, plowed, fertilized, primed for seeding, and white America conveniently, once again, forgot where it all began. This ode is for all those brave blacks, John Lewis, Alice Walker, Stokely Carmichael, Nicky Giovanni, and Bob Moses, who rode the freedom train to the future and distributed a ticket to each and every contemporary as they freed the nation from the chains of the past. They opened the door to the 21st century, and Barack Obama strode through, and for a brief, hopeful moment, the amber waves of grain swelled across the horizon, until the angry thunder of racism boomed ominously beyond the majestic purple mountains. But storms always pass, and people of color are the wave of the future. And America is a better place because the Freedom Riders had the courage to say with Woody Guthrie, "This land is my land, and the time is now."
All right.
Woo!
Those guys were cool. You know, you see John Lewis today, and it's hard to think of John Lewis as a real badass, but he was indomitable. So this is post-op. The scar on her breast became the border that divided them from their past. Each morning as she dressed, she ran her finger along the swollen red line, glanced in the mirror to where he'd bent over tying his shoes, and she felt betrayed. He was puzzled by his wife's rancor. She'd ask, "What should I do?" Sitting next to each other, they spoke in hushed tones as the white-coated doctor waited in the hall. He'd encouraged her to go ahead with the exploratory surgery to be sure she was free of cancer. She'd nodded vaguely and submitted to the scalpel, which sliced through her invincibility and shredded the expectation that his love would protect her from hormonal imbalances and the menace of change. She bit her lip and tried to be brave, but was horrified when the blood-flecked physician told her no tumor had been found. As the wound healed, she remained silent about the unnecessary brutalization of her body. Her husband saw the scar as a wrinkle in their relationship, one of the lines that connected them. But when he ran his tongue along it in the soft warmth of midnight romance, she cursed his cruel focus on her imperfections. They no longer ate lazy lunches with glasses of white wine opening the doors to easy intimacy. Now her eyes, crystal and cold, scratched across the veneer of his affection and reduced him to silence as she glared at him over the rim of her glass, sure that things had been better. Sunday mornings were explosions of food that delighted their daughters with sausage links and plates of pancakes, which he cooked from his mother's recipe. But now as his wife read through the paper at the dining room table, she had no appetite. She only glanced at the eggs before pushing them aside to search for tales of wives who beat sleeping husbands with baseball bats as they snored through their dreams. Reports of strolling lovers gunned down from gang cars caught her eye. And she sighed at stories of babies scalded in tubs of steam after urinating on the sofa. Her husband watched from the other side of the border as she read, her finger tracing the scar along her breast as she wrapped the misfortunes of others around her shoulders the way she used to wrap his love across her lap. Thank you, I appreciate the applause. There's nothing like getting to the climax of a poem and having the technicians break in with an undue and uncalled for round of applause. Thank you very much. And the whispering underneath the entire reading, of course, was another added embellishment that really added to the entire evening of presentation. Nonetheless, the last sentence of the poem is building to a real powerful climax. He dipped a forkful of pancake into the syrup on his plate, put it in his mouth, and chewed thoughtfully, like a refugee dreaming of home.
All right.
I was with you, Chuck. I was with you.
Yeah, I like that.
We roll with you, man. Doug and I we're having problems with my phone with technical difficulties.
I know. I know.
Really?
I was at fault for that. But you know, we're still streaming on YouTube, so you know.
Fantastic.
YouTube.
On YouTube, Me3, whatever. I lost my train of thought. It can happen to me. Why did I lose my train of thought all of a sudden?
Who's next?
Who's next? Thank you. Thank you. But hold on. No, fuck it. Yeah. It's Derek. What's your last name, Derek?
Brown.
Brown! Shit, I couldn't remember that. I was trying to think of the name, I couldn't remember that first name. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe I couldn't remember my best friend's name. Is that a screw up or what, man? I'm dealing with the director of cinematography, because I'm the director of this thing, and I'm directing. I used to be a director of something. I just don't remember what it was. But man, me and my good friend Derek Brown, we go back all the way, man. Last time I was in LA, I stopped at his house, man. He has this huge mansion in Los Feliz. Really good. You have to go up the mountain, you go around twice, you get lost for about 15 minutes, man. The Uber driver doesn't know where the fuck he was going. I'm like, hey, you know where you're going? So, well, listen, I got my GPS here, just go this way and it goes that way, but that's out that end, and that way, and that screws up. And man, I finally said, you know what, here's the $5, I'm getting the hell out of here. I walked, I knocked in 15 doors before I said, oh, you mean the famous poet Derek Brown? That's the dude, man. He lives down the mountain to the right in the little green shack. Oh shit, man. He told me it was a mansion. Apparently for him it is. But what the hell, ladies and gentlemen? Like I said, we go back a long, long way. I'm glad that he's here. He flew all the way from LA to come and hang out with us, man. I called him on the phone yesterday. I said, man, can you catch a plane? He goes, man, shit, don't worry about it, man. Me and my ladies, we'll be there tomorrow night. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's give a nice warm hand all the way from LA, Derek Brown. Let's give a nice warm hand.
What's going on, Chicago? Hey! Yeah!
I don't know where that came
Happy to be here. Get right into it. Dear poets looking to make a name for themselves, dipping a turd in vinegar while saying a prayer does not make it a kosher pickle. Nor does using lofty SAT words in your poems that will never find their way in your normal conversation make you an intellect, let alone deep, so knock that shit off. Fluff is for marshmallow and pillows, which we, your readers and listeners, are needing. Do not make us run for cover as you drench the microphone in a downpour of half-baked thoughts and self-serving ponderings. And for God's sakes, don't attempt to sell us a book, chap or otherwise, that is nothing more than a capsizing ship of mediocrity whose starboard side was ripped open by a massive glacier of blah. We are not, nor will we ever be in the market for an anchor disguised as a lifeboat. That being said, please spare us the swim back to dry land. To be or not to be redundant is not a question. It's merely a poet without a pulse, petrifying ink into still life. But unlike a Picasso, no matter how much we squint, your exhausting scribbling will never be considered abstract art. Because writing about absolutely nothing is pop quiz, the first day back from Christmas break cruelty, have a heart, and simply don't do that shit. We deserve a much more honorable death. So please excuse me as I find the courage to fold this letter and mail it to myself. So, my name is Derek D. Brown once again, and last year I published my very first book.
Yes.
It is called Articulate Scars. My very first publication. I do have copies with me tonight to support your unlocal artists.
Yeah. Is it available on the internet? Is it available on the internet?
It absolutely is.
What website should we go to?
You can go to Derek D. Brown, D-E-R-E-K, the letter D, B-R-O-W-N.com, or you can go to Amazon.com and pick it up. It's called Articulate Scars.
Woo!
So, after our illustrious host started the evening reading from Not My President, I felt this is only appropriate.
All right.
So, November 8th, 2016, election night. Tonight, the streets became paved in our dropped jaws, and the sky became a blanket of white flags waving. But there isn't nearly enough weed in this fair city to ease the pain discomfort of our collective ache. I welcome the amputation. Use that rusty sword with strange fruit and native blood still cleaving to its blade. You can take these hands. That way I can never again press colored ink into predetermined holes, only for them to sell me an illusion of choice at my designated voting poll. So do us all a favor, build that wall you covet so much, build the biggest wall you can. At least those on the outside of it will be spared the cyanide we'll be swallowing for the next 2.5 years here in the land of promiscuity.
All right.
Now, if you think I meant to say opportunity, you are very sadly mistaken. Just simply put, the powers that be, they're gonna fuck you. They're gonna fuck you, they're gonna fuck you, they're gonna fuck one, they're gonna fuck all. There will be no cuddling or phone calls the next day. Just an unpaid hotel room bill and a tacky red hat that says thanks for making America great again. Now they say that pain is weakness leaving the body, but I beg to differ. Because how can daydreams of assassination plots be anything but a grenade pin that's begging for us to pull it? Because when they mix tainted red and blue poll results with an archaic 1%, they birthed a nation of kamikaze pilots looking for our redemption in his kaboom. So again, I do have copies to sell tonight, and I am running a Chicago special, and I'm going to end with the shortest piece I ever wrote. You ready?
Yeah.
It's been said that money talks. My wallet is the strong silent type.
Not My President will be delivered to you, man, by the most interesting people. If you bring it to you, man. If you're in New York, Rudy Giuliani will be knocking on your door with a book in hand and asking you for the 15 bucks. Yes, sir. But if you're from Chi-Town, ladies and gentlemen, Al Capone himself will come out of his vault and grave and deliver it to you. So buy our book, buy his book, and ladies and gentlemen, buy our night. And again, I'm sorry about the fuck up over there. I was trying to respond. People are watching. People are watching. We went dark. Our next one, ladies and gentlemen, is another one of our hosts. They, are here at the Hideout once in a while. But tonight, he's a cinematographer. He is an excellent technician. He fixed that glitch that I messed up and brought us back to life. Ladies and gentlemen, and one of them, are you a millennial or you are?
Technically, yes, just barely.
He's a millennial, man. He doesn't have a job, but he lives in the burbs. He drinks excellent bourbon, and I wonder how he pays for it. He dresses down so people think that he's poor, but he's a rich man. Ladies and gentlemen, put yours together and give him a nice one hand. Doug, Two Pistol Powers in the house. Let's give it up.
Thank you,
and bring it down. Oh, he's gonna get the stuff. He got what? I don't know where you call it. Make it look like you're real. I see that he's prepared, so let me move on.
Yeah.
Our next poet, ladies and gentlemen.
I found him. I'm sorry.
One more time. Doug, Two Pistol Power, ladies and gentlemen.
It's true. I am rich in spirit, and in fact, it's a pleasure to be here, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasure and a privilege and a pleasure. I did find my poems. Yes, we've had a couple technical hiccups tonight. We apologize to the Facebook audience. We're back. We're here for you. The YouTube stream has been uninterrupted, so we'll have the YouTube stream posted to Facebook, so you all can follow the show tomorrow. And we thank those of you who are still with us tonight. Here's notes on your poem, and I hope you enjoy it. I am writing to let you know I enjoyed your poem that appeared in Winter Bean magazine. I liked it more than that woman's poem about making a salad, and much more than that guy's poem about his dog, where it kind of seems like he wants to fuck his dog. I am doing well these days. My heart is tattooed on the side of the Sears Tower, though I'm sure it will not survive the morning. I don't mean that to sound romantic or maudlin. They have business to conduct there, and I don't resent them for it. The streets are full of warm faces. There always seems to be new text to read, on billboards and on handmade signs held by sidewalk radicals and the obstinately religious, and on brightly colored LCD tickers that I only seem to see reflections of in windows, and on bright screens where men in tall socks fight about what number goes in a book, seconds before a conveyor belt carries that book into the fire. Still, it gives people something to keep up with, and I can't argue with that. Since you asked, I do grow weary of Tom. He's always on about how he's trying to stay humble in the wake of some fairly negligible achievement. I don't care for that. As for Susan, I have great affection for her, but her life is like an English actor playing American. A little too precise, a little too composed to really be believable. Still, I'm excited to see what she does with it. This is from the uber bitchy era of Doug Power poems here, preceding the man about town phase that I'm in now. It used to be nothing but shade, Jesus. I am also excited to hear that you're starting your own poetry magazine. Since you're still looking for a name, allow me to suggest the following. Names for your poetry journal. National Local Journal. The General Specific. Slapwank, the magazine for poetry and prose. Ohm Review. Om Nom Nom. Hot Funk Quarterly. 10 spoons. Look what I found in this drawer. The Annual Monthly. Wistful Glance Review. Away in the Heathers. Feverfew. Dead Spider.
That's my favorite.
Appreciate you. My father wanted me to be a doctor to make up for his working in finance all his life. Well, I'm not the correction to your mistakes, Dad. I'm my own person, so suck on this. A journal of words and pictures. Sex engine. Old doorknob. most of a carrot. Poetry, whenever we can find the strength to get out of bed and find a reason to read and edit, because who are these people? Seriously, who are they? And why do they send things? Clap, spank, probe, ottoman.
Porno books.
Only if they don't sell for the first year, then they become porno books. I continue to sell choppy waters. Okay. I continue to sail choppy waters above stony, silent seas. But on paper, I seem to be doing pretty well. Conceptually, I'm dynamite. You have to tell me which anchor is working for you, and how you get your shirts so black, so blue. I want to wear my shirts like you. My private war with the moon has reaped no obvious successes, but I do feel that victory is inevitable. Right soon. That's notes on your poem. I hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate you, folks. Oh, it's good to be here, ladies and gentlemen. You guys keep me afloat in more ways than one. Not only do these events provide a reason for me to keep shaving and showering and putting on shirts, but I also live upstairs here at the Hideout. They agreed to let me stay here for a few days. It's turned into a few weeks. You know, they're good people here. They believe in their community, and they got a lot of faith in me. They let me hang my shirts out to dry out of their window, and they've done everything for me. I'm pouring it all back into the place as soon as I make any money. I'm bringing it all back home. This is Everything Obvious is Hiding, and I hope you enjoy it. Part 1, Everything Obvious is Hiding. You can't see electricity, with the exception of lightning. You can't see air unless you're seeing your breath meet the cold. You can't see your blood when it's blue inside of you. You can only see it when it comes out red. Stop it flowing or you're dead. Part 2, Let the Ghosts In. Let the ghosts in. They need a chance to play, or they'll have nothing fun to do but haunt. So, if you don't want to get haunted, let the ghosts in. Part 3, Metal Mario. Spilled mercury pools on the mirror. You can't pick it up. It's not the 70s. Who do you want to be, want to be, want to be? Part 4, Suggestions. It's time to live in the shattered sun. Blow out before you go out. Learn to forget the difference between yellow and gold. That's Everything Obvious is Hiding. Thanks, folks. I got one more for you. Just one more poem for David Bowie, and I hope you enjoy it. And then I'll be back to running back and forth between two phones, frantically tapping buttons. No, I think we're good now, actually. Here's a poem for David Bowie, and I hope you enjoy it. I have floated around the Earth and seen all the light disappear when the Earth blocked out the sun, and the moon was blotted out by a faraway space station or a close-up tin can. Because stars give off almost no light at all. You realize this when the sun and the moon are out of sight. Maybe all my loose talk against the moon, laying all humanity's sorrows at its door, was too quick and capricious. In the 1800s Eastern Europe of my imaginary childhood, my alcoholic father, a terse, black-haired man in suspenders and 2 pair of pants, used to curse the moon whenever things went wrong, blaming it for the frustration of all his hopes and the failure of his heart to be big enough to contain them. Maybe the sun was for more than powering the plants that power those animals in a room in the dark. Maybe the earth was for more than learning about conspiracies, and maybe sing to, and only sing to, all along. I taught myself one song that I thought I could carry off, and sang it. And then I found the world again. That's a poem for David Bowie. Thank you, folks. Once again, Gregorio Gomez.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are continuing on this evening here at our Hideout lair with Peter in front of me. And I said, holy smokes, is that a mannequin? Or is that a real person? And I adjusted my glasses once or twice just to focus. And there's this beauty just standing there. Turns, looks at me and smiles, says hello, this angelic voice, and my heart went aflutter. I said, my God, I found an angel in this earth. She said, no, you fool, man, I'm the salesperson. What the fuck do you want? She says to me, and I go, oh, damn, I can't afford you. All this stuff here is beyond my means. So she sent me to the dollar store 3 blocks down so I can get my t-shirt that I was looking for. She was a very nice person. I loved her. But then I said, you know, if you're ever in Chi-Town, look me up. And now be damned. Boom! Today, with Derek Brown and his posse, she shows up. And I go, didn't I meet you back then? She ignored me like a wet towel. I deserve that. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear good friend, I was just messing around, my dear good friend, Lala DeVille. Put them together and bring her to the microphone and give it up one more time.
Good evening, Chi-Town.
Hello.
I hate you so much right now that it hurts. But sometimes it feels good to hate you. Just like it did yesterday. To let those words loose from my lips and those thoughts run wild in my mind gives me a temporary freedom for a limited time. It was the euphoric adrenaline rush that kept me from feeling guilty for loving you for as long as I did and for as hard as I did. Because I loved you hard as rocks, hard as steel, hard as you made it for me to even love you. You, hard as arithmetic. But you were an equation too confusing to figure out. I kept trying to comprehend you, but you continued to reduce me to the lowest common denominator. You fucking hater. You made me your slave as you became master and forbade me to ever learn how to read you. Made me need you, then deemed me codependent. But I'm not talking about the kind of dependent that you can carry on your taxes. I'm talking about the kind of dependent that had to carry all the axes that you had to grind while granting me no access to your sensitivity. Ooh, I got a little granting you no sensitivity. You made me the sacrifice that you used to gain your rite of passage while weighing me down with excess baggage as you chose to bury your pain in your mental backyard while burying rusty knives in the center of my back to grind on the fragments of my vertebrae until I was permanently paralyzed and no longer able to feel love. Hate is now the only feeling that overrides the numbness and supersedes the dejection that simmers inside me. Damn right it feels good to hate you. My only regret was turning down the chance to mentally castrate you. Vasect your manly chauvinistic ways the same way you resurrected my love for you, then hysterected my womanly spirit. Yeah, you needed to hear it. Straight from the horse's mouth that you weren't worth a squirt of piss, but I still loved your ass anyway. Now today, on nights like this, I wish I didn't trust you so much. And I wish I never met you at all. It hurts today. And I hate you today. But instead of letting my eyes bleed tears, I'm going to let the pen bleed and the poem cry for me. As I mourn thee, a new emotion reborns me. But the hate that I have for you is just too heavy to lift because I'm just not that strong to forgive. But I'm going to continue to wear unforgiveness around my neck as a reminder to never let me forget, to ever let this happen again. I reserve the right to hold on to unforgiveness for as long as I damn well please, because forgiving you will never remove the hurt and the pain that you inflicted on me. Maybe one day I'll forgive you, but I know it may take a long while. I loved you so much back then, but damn, I hate you so much right now. That's that piece.
Yeah.
brother Derek Brown, I too have my second book out, 31 Days of Moving. It can be purchased on my website, MissLalaDeVille.com, and I do have copies for $20. And you can also find me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just put in Lala DeVille and I'll pop up. I am Googleable. And once again, I do have copies.
You look so Googleable. I'm going in there, deliciously Googleable.
And then, if you want the book, I got a little bit of nakedness.
Oh!
Right. So, yes, I have copies. So, please, I don't want to bring any more of those books back to California. And plus, I need to buy my plane ticket or either I'm stuck here for another week. So, help us hold it out and purchase a copy of 31 Days of Moving.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Lala DeVille, ladies and gentlemen, all the way. Hey, you know, you beat me, you know, Derek beat you to it, but because I'm going to reach into my pocket. I'm going to take out the last $15 that I have in my life. These are my life savings.
That's his bus
This
money. That's your bus money, right?
is my ticket home. But I love this poetry so much that I could not help. I feel like I must. Derek.
Give this man a round of applause.
All right!
Yes. I want to buy you a book, man. Buy.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to charge you an extra buck.
Holy shit! I'm getting a signature for free. Holy shit! Hallelujah! Somebody give me an amen out there. Yes, there's a strange man standing in the middle of the floor. Look, are you with the FBI, man? CIA? Homeland Security? I got pulled bouncers here, man. This guy's got pizzas.
Who wants pizza?
Who wants a pizza? Are you kidding me?
No, pizza for sale. Anybody?
Oh, for sale? Shit, man. You're in the wrong place.
We're poets in here, man.
They're not even buying beer.
We got slices.
You know, Claudio, the guy that sells the tamales already beat you to it, man.
Claudio knows what's up.
Claudio came in with his tamales and got it. But if anybody wants a slice of pizza, I mean, there he is, man. Take it to it, take it to it. But now, ladies and gentlemen, as we move along this evening, thank you, bro, man, appreciate it.
That's poetry.
That's poetry at the Hideout. You don't give up?
Fuck!
That's right, man. That's right.
Feed your soul, feed your body, feed your mind. It's all here at Weeds Poetry.
Well, you know what? You know what? The only way that I can eat is with liquor. And if that pizza came with a bottle of beer, then I might buy it. But I just gave Derek my last $15. It better be worth it, man. Otherwise, I'm not gonna lay, man. You know, I'm gonna go look for you in Los Feliz in that green shack down. You know, down at the bottom of the boat. Well, then you got my $15, then you can afford the rent up there, man. You know, shit.
This was all baby powder.
Woo! How's everybody out there in Streamland? Say hello.
Very rarely.
You are not going to believe that the next poet
But when they do,
is an uneducated
it's like he
person.
money, so it's like
He never went to school. He never learned to read or to write till he was 20 years old. He finally decided that living as a hermit was a piece of shit. He didn't realize the women were fine. He spent his life sitting up in some mountain with that guy with the grizzly Adams, you know, playing with the bears and possums and stuff like that. He saw Grizzly Adams on the TV. He said, "I want to be a mountain man." Starts letting his beard grow long, his hair grow long, and suddenly he realized the 21st century and he needed to come down. Ladies and gentlemen, he suddenly realized that life is beyond the pines. Let's give a nice warm hand and bring him to the microphone. Brandon Cardona, put your hands together and bring him to the microphone. Cardona. There he is. Hey, he's 75 years old and he doesn't look anything past 30.
I don't even know where to begin with that intro. Holy shit. Luckily, you know, I live well enough to get by in society, so, you know, me and Bear Grylls are fighting right now, so luckily he won't see this. Ladies and gentlemen, I got 2 pieces for you today. One of them I recently wrote, the other one I'm going to try to say with more confidence. Talking in front of all these people is terrifying for me, so trying to get it done. The Wandering Mind, ADD for short. The Wandering Mind is a wonderful yet terrible distraction of over-the-top proportions. Never planned, but always happening. Now more than ever, I find myself spacing out and daydreaming about situations that aren't situations, or could be situations if I make the situations happen. It's terrifying and endless. When I drive, I feel like that's when the worst of it happens. The bottom of my foot starts to itch and I'm on the highway and I start arguing with myself about what to do, you know, about it. And then blink and I'm parked up at work already, asking myself what the hell happened. Good news though, my foot no longer itches. Progress. The Wandering Mind has a habit of providing inspiration when you have no way of recording it. And by the time you have that that inspiration gets lost in the sea of short-term memory reminders for later, hopefully. I'm not complaining, I just wish I could always remember or bring back all the comebacks, ideas, and jokes and fun facts I thought of before I forgot them. So many good ideas lost to time, stress, and booze, and TV. I'm rambling. But the Wandering Mind makes me wonder where to wander to next. And I'm sure that when I sit down, I've thought of a better end to this writing, just to spite myself.
Yeah! Yes, indeed. Cardona.
So this piece here was actually one of the first pieces I said when I got up here. So I'm gonna try to say it with some more emotion before dead. So let's try this a little better. Exhausted is an understatement when you're not really sure what days blend together. You start on Monday to work your way to Friday, only to find yourself at Wednesday feeling like you've worked 3 weeks in 3 days. They say when you work at a place that you love, you'll never work a day while you're there. That's bullshit. There's more to a job you like or love because it's easy to coast at anything you do. But with that kind of effort, do you really like what you spend 40 of your 168 hours in a week? That's not including time stuck in traffic or time you're sleeping. At the same time, too much passion or time to one thing like work isn't healthy either. One needs a balance. All work, no play makes Jack a dull boy, a proverb said by someone at the same crossroad that most of us will encounter more than once in our lives. Spend too much time working and you lose out on life, experiences, and a terrible run on your health. Spend too much time indulging and you find yourself bored, directionless, and unmotivated. There's a faint line between the two that needs to be treaded carefully. You seek a balance through words, actions, and routine, right? Live life, but have some cash in your wallet.
All right.
Which one you want?
The one you just read. The one you just read. Hey, Jose is watching. Sophia is watching. Hello, darling. Neil is watching.
Oh, shit.
Talk about emotion. You want to read a poem with emotion? Exhausted. Is it understated? When you're not really sure what days blend together. You start on Monday to work your way to Friday, only to find yourself on Wednesday feeling like you worked 3 weeks in 3 days. Emotion. I'm really proud, man. I went to acting school.
All right, now read my period poem.
I'm not sure how to answer that. You mean period like in, 1895 to 1897?
Yeah, they have menstruation back then.
Bring it to life. Bleed on stage.
Bleed on stage.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
That makes sense to me. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, as we move along this evening, let me bring up to the microphone. I bought 2 books from this guy. I tried to read one of his poems last week, and I really was not the right person to read his poetry, because he is the only one that can read it with such a way that makes sense. I was just chopping it all over the place. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a nice warm hand. Bring it to the microphone, Mr. Alan McNair. Put it together. Let's bring him up, bring him down. He's a quiet soul with a powerful word. That's right. Thank you very much.
I'm about to teach everyone a lesson how to read my poetry.
Yeah. All right.
In my book, I dream of Amaranth, dead of night. Tiny points of light shower, fragile artificial globe in cold dead of night, apart from all hope of any timely rescue. Celestial travels, comfort now, disturbed by space's desolation. Systems once made secure are now promptly torn asunder. Amaranth and Woodman's bed of sleep, face bathed in sweat. Benjamin feels anxious assault on his mind by memory vivid of her past horror as repair bots, brave, overwhelmed, cannot fix entire damage from damaging dust of space. Compartments sealed, escape ships quickly prepared to depart. One withdraws safely with helpless Amaranth comfortably inside. Exhaustion blunts sharp edge of shock over Amaranth's swift loss of her ship, its world, as well as family and many friends. Inside a tiny capsule so secure, she watches the larger one escape. Her people lost to capricious peril, she says a silent prayer for her loss. Hurled toward distant sylvan shore, near one severed out too, like her own. She soon reaches peaceful green and blue glade, unknown to her people. Her dream, too vivid into her mind, grief assails her very being sure. All hope for stricken vessel lost in her delicate heart of hearts. Magdalene is also filled with a great anguish for her loss. Her wounds of grief are also his, as she mentally shares her thoughts. With visions shared, however, comes great comfort and relief. Her early shuddering and vivid memory gradually subsides. Sweat soon dries upon her quiet brow in her growing calmness. She is assured of Mandoline's powerful, comforting nearness. Amaranth releases her tight grip upon the covering sheets. They rest easily upon her relaxed form, accenting her curves. Her male host relaxes with her, gently surveying his guest. He chastely admires what he sees, looks forward to her awakening. She is welcome to be in his fair cottage as long as she likes. His heart longs to care for her if she requires his attention. She sleeps on in a peaceful repose, quietly recovering. He loves her innocence and is ready to comfort her if she asks. Number 2. She awakens, smiles, her nose alerted to bubbling hot broth. Vegetables and roots merrily swirl through mad boiling sea. Then sadness comes anew to her as the bubbling pot reminds her of the capricious celestial sea carrying away from her people. His recent presence in her mind, welcome with tragic ordeal shared. She now awakens to his comforting presence before her. Pleasant, rich odor from his pot, enough to analyze ingredients found within to nicely heal further her weary, weakened body. Her covers rapidly slide off as she stands innocent before him, gracefully naked in all of her perfect shining beauty. Her clear eyes are full of innocence and without guile. Her gentle eyes drink in what he sees standing in front. Ample but firm her bosom, lean yet supple her stomach, well-formed her hips, light brown forest carpet's floor between sweet, gently tapered legs and dainty feet. Her entire form is satisfying to his accepting eyes. Curves graceful from shoulders down to plush round black backside. With her gracious curtsy for his appreciation, she merrily reforms woven sky of blue cloth, quick as any other thought. Modestly in her demeanor, she smiles demurely before him. Magdalene delights in her mind's magic to clothe her so quickly. He quietly wonders of her other possible ethereal powers. Are they as useful and practical as her life as are his? Will she be willing to share her delightful powers with him? What else to be shared with this lovely alien from farthest shore? He then imagines that life together would never again be dull. Already loving her entirely, he delights in her nearness. Adventures aplenty already promise to be forthcoming. He wants to share the wonders of his own world with his love. He desires to introduce his beloved to his many friends. She opens her arms to give forth a wide embrace of affection. They come together close to hold each other willingly. That's how you read it. Thank you.
Thank you for that lesson how to read poetry there, Ellen McNair. Thank you very much. I shout to Shappy's watching, of course, and so it's a bar from Michigan is watching. Thank you very much. I want to bring up, ladies and gentlemen, what the hell happened? I suddenly feel lost. I'm like, the hideout, poetry, yes, craziness, nothing, blue, yellow, orange, sunshine, dreams, speculations. This is what comes to my mind when I listen to her poetry. She intrigues me. She makes me feel like a cloud, a nebulous cloud. Is that a word, nebulous?
Nebulous.
Nebulous, thank you very much. English is my second language, so I mispronounce it half the time.
You're doing wonderful.
She gently walked across the floor, following Derek like she was watching another reality. She seems to flow, unleashed through the brook or broken glass in the mind of craziness. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from LA, let's give her a nice warm hand, my dear good friend. Cookie is in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
She's ready to rock you. Give it up, bring it down. Welcome.
No pressure. Hi, Chantel.
Hello.
Okay, 3 pieces. Here we go. Protective energy swirls round my body. Warrior of fragile heart stays on guard. Mine saw his and smiled. He was familiar, felt like home in his presence. It happened. Guard came down and relaxed. Our connection was made. No pressure, no measure of time. We took whatever time we needed. Minutes became hours, then days, then weeks. He be alpha, I be beta. We made sense. Shared conversation yearned for shared space. He rocked mouths, a gap-toothed smile, and this brown sugar skin. I heard lifetimes in his voice. He was a soft-spoken king, so I knew. His laughter, it matched my heart, light and breezy. We had that moment, and I knew. Bra and panties match. I knew. I was gonna give him some before the end of the first date. He had big feet and strong hands. Yeah, I looked. Wine flowed, our lips locked, tongues danced and bodies, well, bodies do what bodies do. And then it happened. My vocal jubilation caught him off guard, but not off rhythm. Deep-throated moans encouraged his scream. So he had this hump in his back, sweat on his brow, and that sexy-ass smile. My fingers, they played his vertebrae like piano keys. It's music, my favorite song. And he played that shit all night. We rested, we laughed, again we played, we connected. And before the break of dawn, we did it all over again. Lust. Yeah, that's too easy a dismissal. Our bond is tighter than the skin. We had that moment, and that moment may never happen again, but at the moment that it happened, we were both all in. At that moment, when that happened. And that's when.
All right, yeah.
So, I haven't thought about him in a while. I'm thinking about him now. Still makes me smile. I wonder if he did all those things we talked about. You know, did he get married, have those kids?
by that house. And even though we didn't work out, I still wish it would. Yeah. I haven't thought about him in a while. I'm thinking about him now, though. And it still makes me smile. Next to him.
All right.
So, last piece. Sometimes you kind of have those days when you're off. That's not all the time. In fact, most days, I start my morning with a wiggle from under the warmth of my blanket to the open airiness of my room, and it feels good. Refreshing. Going from hot to cool. Like hot sex with that cool dude. That good. Most days. Most days my body wakes up stimulated. Like fresh brewed coffee, caffeinated. No sugar, no cream, unfiltered, just raw. Like my daydreams and my thoughts. Most days I feel elevated. Eyes on the prize, my journey can't be regulated. Day or night, my grind is tight. I be on that next level shit most days. But some days my head be on ache before I even wake. My mood is foul. The extent of my plans is just simply to move from bed to couch. Like that hairy green man in that trash can, I feel like a grouch. like that cat no one let out. I feel mean. On those days, I probably shouldn't even be seen. Some days, my breath and my disposition be on stank. Armpits are funky, hair be nappy, my elbows and knees are ashy, my whole damn attitude is nasty. Some days I ain't trying to be polite or sweet or understanding or patient or nice. Some days it's best I just be left alone. No Instagram, no Facebook, no cell phone. Some days the best I can do is be me. And on those days, I'm okay with that.
All right. All right.
Thank you, Ricky. Can I make a comparison? I hope I don't disrespect, but in a couple of moments, you reminded me of a dear friend of mine, Patricia Smith. I don't know if you know who she is. You know who she is? There was a little Patricia Smith in your voice and in some of your words. So thank you very much. A shout to Patricia, man. You know that she was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature. They fucked up. She should have won. As a matter of fact, let me say that one more time. They fucked up. She should have won. Patricia, love you, baby. Plus she moved to New York, man. New York.
Brooklyn.
Where?
Not New York. She's in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in Brooklyn. Oh, Brooklyn.
Tell him, Chuck.
Actually, New York is not a real city, It's just a bunch of pieces of land divided by water, united by bridges. That's all it is. Chi-Town.
Mr. Geography over here.
Chi-Town is a city, man. Chi-Town is a megalopolis, man. We're going to be gobbling up Milwaukee one of these days. We're going to call it Chi-Milwaukee. Fuck yeah. Where the hell did Tim go?
He was nervous. You made him nervous.
Terrified.
He talked about another Smith, and he was like, fuck this.
You tell the poet. Well, you know what?
I'm pretty sure he can hear you, and he's right here.
Oh!
There he is.
He went to wash his hands. That's what happened. He went to the bathroom, regurgitated tonight's food, which was a dozen oysters, 3 pounds of roasted potatoes, a side of green beans, 3 shots of tequila, a 40 ouncer of whatever that was. But you know what?
Mickey's.
Mickey's. There's no 40 ounces of Mickey's.
Are you kidding?
Is there a 40 ounces?
Oh, yeah. There used to be. I don't know if there's.
No, there were little barrels, man. The malt liquor, man. Did you ever have a little Mickey's, man? The little green bottle that fuck you up, man. I remember those, man. Hell yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, as nervous as he is, as nervous as he was last time, and he's going to prove to Brian how it's done. Brian, you know, he decided not to read this evening.
I was last minute.
I don't give a shit if it was yesterday's minute. I don't care if it was a New York minute or an Oklahoma mountain time. He was not ready either. We said, Tim, you're ready. He went like this, he'll fuck you. That's exactly how he did it. But he had to reach a little lower. But that's okay. That's another story. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give another round. Producer Tim Smith, put your hands together. Bring it to the mic.
Let's go, folks.
All right.
Woo!
All right.
That was wonderful.
You talk like that all the time?
I think Tim's in love.
All right, now I'm going to
He wants to go to LA with you. LA love.
California love. All right. For this story, I can't say names. You'll get it later. I was sitting on the back of the truck. Me and my amigo were joking. I stand on the tailgate, unaware of my fate, but it's too late. I alight. The straps on the machine that weighs more than me had broken. It moves towards me with all the rage of Newton's laws had to offer. If Isaac was here, he'd say, life's a bitch, don't try and stop her. I wouldn't listen anyway. It would have taken too long to say it proper. My coworker turns to me to see that the machine had overtaken me. He throws out a hand to grab me before I land, but it's too late. His arm catches the machine as I cascade to the concrete. I cover my head and neck while I'm hitting the deck. As I roll through the pavement, my stained pants and earned every cent, taking jagged rocks and asphalt as I fight to descend. No time to halt, no time to brush them or check them for holes. My heart is rushing, I see my roll. My ego is in trouble as I leap from the road. I throw my arms up while sprinting to the street to make driver aware to see eyes grow wide, that stare of a man who aged 50 years in a moment. He slams on his brakes. I'm way out of data, but I'm still roaming. I get to the truck and lift the machine off my homie. What took so long, he said while groaning. This is a work of fiction for insurance reasons. It's like that when you only work for the seasons. It's not easy when your collar is blue. When a racehorse gets hurt, they turn into glue. My coworker amigo is still at the gig. He's got a wife and his kids getting big. He likes to work, it's his addiction. I'm more into freestyle diction. My driver was a supervisor with a conscience. He had a lot on his plate, so we agreed for his sake that my amigo made sure that he kept a clean slate. So I kept my mouth shut and soon quit the job. I was never a religious man, but that day I spoke to God. I asked him to steal my friend I asked him not to steal my friend because he got too much to rob. Let this dude go in peace. Fucking please, God. Thank you.
Yes.
Did you say please, God?
Yes, sir. Oh. Uh-oh.
Come on in. Don't be afraid. We don't bite anymore. We've been vaccinated. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And deliver us from evil. The city. Golden light, silver streamers, joys, laughter, music, soul, adorn. The city. The parades, masquerades, the politicians, Christians, all around do-gooders, flash their smiles plus smiles of sympathy. A symphony of applauded promises for the unwanted, the enriched, the systematically oppressed, the educationally repressed. The city. With modern highways crisscross through your heart, keeping far apart, well, you know who. So that tourists don't have to see terrible housing conditions or neighborhoods in which you know who live. Golden light, silver streamers makes us all just happy dreamers, taking time to die from our daily misery, surrounded for a night in a deluge of acceptance, a game of freedom. Our pride within our souls is slowly chipped away, away, away until it fades away. The city, impregnated with the Mexicanos living in the urban rural barrios, which will no longer be, cease to be barrios. The renovation, rejuvenation is not for them to enjoy, but for the son of the oppressor. No matter. Golden lights, city lights, is a mess out living in your shadow, playing mythical golf and racquetball in the barrios and ghettos, as a non-colored children grow up in the fantasy of the city.
What's up, love? You're fine.
Thanks everyone for watching tonight. We appreciate you. Special announcement in case you missed it. We are off next week. May 14th, I want to say? May 14th, this coming Monday, we are off, so don't show up. I mean, show up and drink at the Hideout, by all means. We won't be here. Yeah, get your money. Come here and spend your money on alcohol. That's the appropriate way to spend it. And check out Not My President, featuring Mr. Gregorio Gomez and other poems, available on Amazon. Check out, am I moving in here again? Check out Articulate Scars by Derek D. Brown, available at derekdbrown.com, DEREKDBrown.com, or Amazon.com. Search Derek D. Brown Articulate Scars. Appreciate you. You can also find Mr. Alan McNair's book, I Dream of Amaresh, available on Amazon.com. Search Alan McNair, I Dream of Amaresh, right? We've also got Miss Lala DeVille, 31 Days of Mood, available on Amazon. Available on Amazon. That's Lala DeVille, L-A-L-A, space D-E-V-I-L-L-E, 31 Days of Mood. She's got some moods, Lala DeVille, and she'll tell you about them. And also, I want to tell you about a new free magazine, a new zine in Chicago called Turnstile, featuring art from our friend, poet, and artist Camilo Cumpian. And this is Turnstile, that's style with a Y, available at only the finest bodegas and dives, so please pick it up. Yeah, we appreciate you folks, and we'll be back 2 weeks from tonight. Thank you.
There's dog to pistol power, ladies and gentlemen. Our cinematographer this evening. End of scene. Fade to black.
Yeah, we'll be on YouTube, we'll just search YouTube for Beach Poetry, the Hideout will be there. Yeah, we link to it from the Facebook page. And then we have a Facebook stream going too. So thank you so much. Let me make sure and just kill this stream, and then yeah, let's talk about everything.